Morning. Well, I don't know what time it is for you, but it's morning here. Had a little while to kill before school started, so I figured let's make a video. And those blinds are really blinding. That's the ticket. So today's video is actually going to consist of 3 parts. Part 1 I would like to call a clarification. Let's clarify. So I only read the first 2.5 Harry Potter books, so my plot holes are strictly movie-based. Because I got a few complaints from someone who won't be named. Apparently in the books, Hermione's parents moved to Australia instead of just forgetting about the existence of their daughter, which still seems pretty stupid to me because she was oblivious, but we're not going to get into that right now. It sucks. I have it written down in my plot hole device, which I probably should have mentioned in the actual video instead of looking like an idiot. Alright, I have learned. Part 2 is entitled Me Putting My Hair in Funny Positions Because I Just Got Out of the Shower. Woo-wee! That was fun. And for part 3, we're going to talk about the Lorax. The Lorax is a Dr. Seuss interpretation. It's directed by Chris Renaud. This is his second film, the first one being Despicable Me, a very okay film. I liked it. I liked it. It was a very solid movie, sort of. I mean, there were definitely issues. The main story focuses on the romance between Zac Efron and Taylor Swift, and, you know, as a teenage male audience member, that's not very easy to get into. And the Onceler has a face. I'm not sure I like that they gave him a face. It does, however, have a lot of great songs, which is, it's a musical, which is something I didn't know going in. But it was cool. The music was cool. It was hip, you know? I mean, when most of the songs in your movie about the environment go like this.
Principle of nature. That almost every creature knows.
And I know I'm in for a good time. One thing I did like is that they changed the relationship between the Onceler and the Lorax. See, in the original cartoon, the Onceler just comes in because he's evil and starts cutting down all the trees, and the Lorax just can't stop him, and that's the end. But in this one, he comes along, tries to chop down the trees, and the Lorax actually convinces him to stop chopping down the trees, and they become friends. For a while, at least. And then the money sorta takes over the Onceler, and he cuts down the trees anyways, and becomes sorta evil. And it tears apart the friendship, which I thought was really interesting. So, you know, A+ on that movie. Some critics said that the bromance between the Lorax and the Onceler was a bad thing. I disagree. I, in fact, think it should have been focused on more. Instead of Zac Efron planting trees for the girl. In the original cartoon, the Onceler coming into the forest and cutting down all the truffula trees and building up his empire, that takes up, like, 3/4, I want to say, of the entire 20 minutes. And in this movie, it was reduced to this. How bad can I be? Which is a great song. Don't get me wrong. But I think the movie probably should have better prioritized what was interesting in their movie, because it focused a little bit too much on Zac Efron. Another issue I have with the movie is that characters seem to be doing things for the wrong reasons, like, all the time. Like, Zac Efron, the character, Zac Efron, I think his name is Ted. His whole goal in the movie is to figure out how to plant a new truffula tree. I mean, not because he cares about the environment, or he wants, like, you know, the town to be bettered or anything. He just wants to get the hot girl. Which is understandable, I guess, but it's not the right reason to plant a tree. I guess part of the whole plot line is about how he learns to care about the environment and stuff, but it's still primarily to get the girl. When the Onceler's telling the backstory of how the trees all got cut down, it starts off with him going off to make his needs, like this material. He wants to make it because it's his dream, it's his passion to make this material. And then he gives up on it because it's hurting the forest creatures. You know, that's cool, that's fine, whatever. But then what drags him back into the business is the money. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point where it didn't even matter that it was his passion or not. It was just because he was getting paid a lot of money, and it convinced him to, like, screw over his friends and stuff, and yeah. Spoiler, there's a happy ending. It involves Zac Efron convincing all the people of Thneedville that the environment is good and they need to plant trees and stuff. But at first they're not really hearing him. They're like, oh, why do we need trees? We already have oxygen from this other guy, the other villain. And the only thing that finally convinces them that trees are good is when they find out that they wouldn't have to pay for air if they had trees. I mean, they didn't care about the environment or how pretty the trees were or anything. All they cared about was how much they were going to have to pay to breathe. Basically, the whole point of the movie is that Zac Efron wants to plant the seed to get the girl, and in the end, the Onceler just gives him the seed. Like, he had it for so many years, living with the regret of destroying the forest and stuff, and he could have just planted the seed himself. For a movie called The Lorax, we really don't see that much of him. I mean, the main character in the real time is Zac Efron, and the main character in the backstory is the Onceler. So, Danny DeVito is really a footnote in this story, and we don't get that much of him at all. I have just decided that I want to end this video with me walking off into the distance while Let It Grow plays.